Teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Welcome to Extra Innings, presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. And by Circa Sports. Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. On the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Tough night for the Cardinals as they lose in Atlanta. Final score 5-1. The story of this game is just the lack of hitting, the lack of offense, the lack of run scoring for the Cardinals. Michael McGreevy pitched well, but they just had very little to say offensively, especially after the first inning. Welcome in. This is the Circa Sports Extra Inning Show on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Glad to have you with us. If you want to chime in on what we saw go down tonight and what we listened to happen tonight, for sure you can call in or also text in. The number is the same whether you're calling or texting, 314-436-7900. That's 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air, or you can leave a comment on the video chat on the stream for those of you who are watching the video version of this, and we will address many of those comments as we go along tonight. Justin gets in first with a comment saying, not a very good showing by the offense tonight. Justin, you would be spot on that one. It's borderline startling what they did offensively tonight. They scored 1 run on 2 hits in the first inning. They do not get another hit in the game. J.J. Weatherholt draws a walk in the 3rd inning, and that is it for base runners the rest of the way. And that's a tough night. Now, you give some credit for sure to Atlanta pitching. Reynaldo Lopez, I thought, was surprisingly good. I thought he was – you look at some of the swings that Cardinals hitters had in this game. In fact, we got a text message from John in Arizona that said so many Cardinals hitters were swinging at balls outside the strike zone. Yeah, I think the Cardinals were having a really, really hard time picking up Lopez's pitches today, and that's a credit to Lopez. That's a big credit to Lopez. And then the dudes that Atlanta brought in out of the bullpen are all really good. Nobody out of the Atlanta bullpen that the Cardinals saw today had an ERA above 2.5. So let's give credit where credit is due. That was really good pitching that the Cardinals faced off today, but you want a little bit more. You want a little bit more than what the Cardinals did offensively. Not having a base runner after the 3rd, not having a hit after the 1st inning, that's a tough night. And even if you tip your cap to Atlanta pitching, which I think is the correct thing to do, I think you can also say that you expect a little bit more from the Cardinals from a hitting standpoint. And it's a reminder, and I'm not trying to say this to jam home a point that I bring home every night, but when the Cardinals are not hitting home runs, they're tending not to score runs and they're tending not to win games. They are, like many teams in baseball, they are very reliant on the home run, and they don't get a home run tonight. Nick said good teams hit good pitching. Yeah, I mean that's true, but we're also living in a world right now where it's really hard to hit. It's really hard to hit. There's many things about this game that is an advantage to the pitchers. Tonight, it was just an extreme version of this. Let's get to our cut of the game. We will do this because this came back in the first inning. Cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Ivan Herrera had a double in the first inning, and then he ends up being driven in as Jordan Walker comes up to the plate.
and Mateo was playing right there. Here's a line drive and a base hit to right field. Walker, and coming in, attempting to score the slide. Herrera's safe. He just beat the throw from Yastrzemski and the tag from Baldwin.
So that is our cut of the game. Again, it is brought to you by our friends at the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I want to talk about Michael McGreevy for a little bit, and actually, even though he takes the loss in this game, I think we need to focus on just how well he is pitching. Who's on a Roll, sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. I ran his numbers since his last win. He has not won a game since May 8th. He has started 9 games since his last win. And over that time, he's 0-5 with a 3.96 ERA. The 3.96 ERA does not even tell the whole story, because he has given up 3 runs or less in 7 of those 9 outings, and he has given up 2 runs or less in 6 of those 9 outings. He has 2 games in there where he has given up more than 3 runs. He had a 5-run outing against Milwaukee in 4 innings back on May 26th, and then he gave up 5 runs in 6 innings against Miami on June, he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings against Kansas City on June 19th. That's it. That is it for outings where he has allowed more than 3 runs. So they're not scoring runs for him right now. The run support for Michael McGreevy simply has not been there. He's pitching well, so he may not get a W next to his name. In fact, today he gets an L next to his name, but he's pitching well enough that I did want to at least focus in on him. He is on a roll. It's sponsored by Circa Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Yeah, Jeremy sends in a message, says, poor kid can't get any run support. Yeah, that's the way it goes. Sam says the offense does not score when McGreevy is on the mound. It's so frustrating. It is, and this happens every year, right? This is something where it feels like every year, and I bet it's this way for just about every team, where there's one guy that for whatever reason the team doesn't score runs for him. And this year, it is Michael McGreevy. There's some other guys. I'm not trying to say he's the only one. There are some other individuals who have been hurt this year by the Cardinals not scoring runs for them. But I just gave all those numbers from McGreevy since his last win just to show how well he has pitched, and the fact he has not gotten a win next to his name during that whole period is something certainly to take note of. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air. Continue to leave those comments in the chat as well. As the Cardinals come up short today, they end up losing to the Braves by a 5-1 score. We'll take a break. Have more coming up in just a moment. It's the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show on KMOX.
The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years, offers a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches to suit your style and budget. Visit us at 12 North Central Avenue or schedule a virtual appointment at thediamondshop.net.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, back to Extra Innings, presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. And by Circa Sports. Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. On the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Cardinals lose by a 5-1 score tonight in Atlanta. Welcome back in. It is the Circa Sports Extra Innings Show here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Appreciate you being with us. I wish we had better stuff to talk about. That was a tough one today for the Cardinals. They do very, very little offensively, and that's going to be our By the Numbers for the night. It is sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. I'll say it one more time. Just offensively, what the Cardinals did tonight. They scored 1 run on 2 hits. The 2 hits that they get each come in the first inning. They are no hit through the final 8 innings of this game, and they would only have one more base runner. J.J. Weatherholt walks in the third. That is it. The final 20 hitters are retired by Atlanta pitching tonight. That's By the Numbers, sponsored by Bank of Springfield. Bank boldly, bank with BOS, member FDIC. You do have to take a step back and see where this team is at offensively, because they've been in a bit of a funk. When they were that series against the Marlins, they scored 2, 1, and 0 runs, so 3 runs over a 3-game series. Even that series against the Diamondbacks, none of the games were great offensively, 4-3 and 3 runs. They scored a bunch of runs the last time they were on the road, but we're now at a week plus on this team offensively being challenged. And yesterday it took a 4-run inning with 2 home runs for them to put up a good number. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. You win games by having big innings. You win games by putting up crooked numbers, and that's what they did yesterday when they had the 2-home-run, 4-run inning. But they are an offensively flawed club here at the moment. I do think guys are tired. Ricky mentioned it at one point in the broadcast tonight, how he thought Ivan Herrera looked tired to him. I think that Jordan Walker is just kind of running on fumes here, trying to get to the All-Star break. It's been a lot on this team, and there's a lot of guys who have not gone through a season like what they're going through right now, where they've been competing at a pretty high level, and a lot of guys have been playing on an everyday basis. I think this team needs a little bit of a breath, and that's going to come at the All-Star break. Now we'll see if that actually helps. Maybe they're going to come out of the All-Star break and it looks the same, and then we'll address that at that moment. Yeah, I think it's a tired group. A message from Aaron comes in. Aaron, you got to stop it with this stuff. He says, it's great this is a throwaway season and wins don't matter. Who's telling you that, Aaron? Who's telling you that wins don't matter? Because Chaim Bloom came on with Tom Ackerman on Sunday morning, and one of the first things he said is, I want to be very clear. I'm paraphrasing. But he said, I want to be very clear that this is that wins matter. And they care about the wins. They care about the standings. Now, are there other things that are going on? Guess what? Guess what, Aaron? We live in a world where we can care about multiple things, no matter what we're talking about, whether it's sports, whether it's life. I don't have to only love my wife and my kids. I can love both of them. The Cardinals don't have to only worry about the future or worry about this year. They can do both. So your little act about, it's great this is a throwaway season and wins don't matter, it's a tired act and it's dumb. It's just dumb. They do care. Nobody has said that wins don't matter this year. There are other things that they are also worried about, and sometimes those things can be prioritized over this year's team. They're not going to hurt themselves for the future to try to get a couple more wins this year. But to say wins don't matter, it's an unintelligent thing to say, and it's false. It is absolutely false. And I don't appreciate it. I don't think I want to sit here and talk about things that are truthful. So I'm not saying that they're going all in to win games this year. That's not what I'm saying. But there is a difference between that and that wins just don't matter. They do matter. This team wants to win. This team shows up to the ballpark every day wanting to win. Oliver Marmol is one of the most competitive people I have ever met in my life. He hates losing. Sometimes I feel really bad for him because he's in this situation where the organization is at a place where they try to get back to a point of where they're competing at the highest level, and it's not where they're at right now. And this guy who just burns so hot to win, and they're not fully equipped to do so. Jeremy comes in with a defense of Aaron, says, don't bother Aaron. He's a cool dude. Aaron comments every day. I get a little get a little hot and bothered on that one. So Aaron, we appreciate you. But yeah, I don't like that. I don't think it's a true statement, and I'm going to push back on it pretty hard on that one for sure. Sam also says the good thing is Iglesias may not be available tomorrow night because he worked the last 2 games. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure why he worked today. And I know he hasn't worked a lot lately for sure, but he did work yesterday. Yesterday felt like the day where you're just getting him in there to get him some action. I'm not quite sure why they used him today. So, hey, if the Cardinals have some success against him tomorrow, or if they have success in the 9th inning when he's not available, something like that, then we can certainly look at something that happened in this game today as being a positive. So appreciate that from you, Sam. Let's get to our insurance run of the game. It's sponsored by Troxel Insurance in Central Illinois, proudly representing auto owners insurance. And we are going to go with, this game was tight. This was a 2-1 game all the way until the 8th inning. And then that's when Atlanta was able to start to pull away. It was Michael Harris who came up to the plate and really started things going for the Braves in what turned into a big inning for them in the 8th.
Pedro Pajes just went through the signals of what they're going to do in case Albies runs. The pitch by Brule, and that's swung on, and a base hit into left center field. That scores Baldwin. On to third base, Albies. The throw comes in to win. It's an RBI hit for Harris. The Braves have a 3-1 lead.
They would go on to score 2 more runs in the 8th inning, a 3-run 8th for Atlanta. So a 2-1 game becomes a 5-1 game. That ends up being the final score, and that's the way things went tonight. It is our insurance run of the game, sponsored by Troxel Insurance in Central Illinois, proudly representing auto owners insurance. That is just about going to do it for this show tonight. Appreciate everybody being with us. These type of games can they're tough. They're tough. This is a night watching the team score just the 1 run on 2 hits and no base runners after the 3rd inning and no hits after the 1st inning. It is a frustrating watch. It's a frustrating listen. Everything about this, if you're a Cardinals fan, I think you have every right in the world to be frustrated about the way this game went down. I know I'm frustrated about it for sure. Like just sitting through that one and hoping that they would find a little bit of offense, frustrating for sure, and it just did not happen. And over a course of 162 games, you have a few of these. Tomorrow, the Cardinals are going to be sending Dustin May to the mound. That's going to be a big story after he was skipped to start because of some back tightness. It's going to be Hurston Waldrop who's going to make the start for the Braves. Just his 2nd appearance this year. Last year, he was pretty good, had a 2.88 ERA over 10 games in the big leagues. He's a young guy who's pretty good. And we'll see how things go tomorrow. Thanks so much for being tuned in. We will talk to you again tomorrow. We'll have a little bit of Redbird Rush Hour, like a 7-minute show. Kevin Wheeler and myself just after the 5 o'clock news. For those of you who, by the way, watch that on the stream, we don't video stream a 7-minute segment leading to Cardinal baseball. So if you're really looking to get Redbird Rush Hour, you can, of course, listen on 104.1 FM, 1120 AM, stream it on the Odyssey app, and then we'll get right into Cardinals pregame, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for the Extra Innings Show, and hopefully we're talking about a team that scored a whole bunch of runs and put this game in the rearview mirror. Thanks so much for being tuned in. We will talk to you again tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball here on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Life